Elk and Wapiti have been a big part of the New Zealand deer industry since deer farming began back in the late 70s, early 80s. And the purpose of this presentation is to take advantage of the experience and knowledge gained over those 30 years in regards to the tricks and techniques that we have learnt in the handling of elk and Wapiti, particularly in regards to facilities. We have to be mindful that we're dealing with an animal the size of a horse, 500 plus kgs, and animal and human safety have to be taken into account when we're handling these animals. The critical point when yarding deer is that immediate laneway prior to the shed, and that's where the pressure comes on. That's why we put these cider boards against the fence, and that tends to keep the deer off the fence and make them quite safe. The other important thing is to take them round corners. We don't want them to go straight into the shed. We come around, and then when the doors open, another turn in that way. When we're handling the deer in the yards, what we want to do is minimise the aggravation that we cause them, and in doing that we move quietly. We don't want any loud raised voices or sudden movements. If you just work quietly with them, they'll be correspondingly quiet. One of the things with working with these guys is it's never a good idea to work with them individually or on their own. It's a whole lot easier with a group. Like that second one there, he's one that'll, well, you can sort of see he's got a bit of attitude. On his own, that'd be quite dangerous, whereas with a group, we'll get him to move. Come on, fellas. I use the shield, the height of the shield, as a means of directing the deer. They're just moving away from us. What you're effectively doing here is creating there's no exit out of that pen open for them at the moment, and so by going towards them, you're creating a confrontation situation, and you've got to be mindful of how you're going to deal with that. So if I flip that, and that means I can just go from one sweep door to another to allow them to settle. And then what I want to do is draft two of those animals back. So I'll just go round and use the shield to draft. Come on, fellas. Come on, Toby. It's only a sheet of plywood, but it's got them foxed. Even using your hand as an extension of your height is helpful. So if we want those guys to go up here, round you go, mate. Round you go. Round you go. Come on, mate. Come on. And then the same thing. Keep the door between you and the animal. Come on, mate. Come on. Right. And then I can squeeze it in, and then if for example we want to give them a copper, we put a copper cap in there, and we put what's called the copper gun right to the back of his throat, squeeze the trigger, he swallows, down we go. Hey mate. Okay, it is important that you have your doors arranged so that they flow, and what I mean by that is this door to load the deer into the crush had been facing round this way, and we forced the animals by bringing that round there. Now if that's left like that, when the animals come out, we're going to have a problem, because he's either going to go behind the door, catch his hip on there, wedge in there. So you've got to make sure that the door is in sync with the flow of the animals. No harm can come to the animal when it's lying that way and the animals are flowing this way. Okay, when we're loading out from this facility, what we need to do is bring the deer into this pen, put them into the half circle, shut here, then either from here, depending on the animal, or from behind, we've got this full sweep door that we put to there. If the animal, even though the race is straight open to the truck from here, if the animal is going to balk at that, we can use the slide and just give them a tap on the back, and that's always enough just to get them moving forward. So then we've got them in here. Once again, we're turning around a corner, which they like. It's a big wide race. If in fact they balk, if it's a low truck for argument's sake and they balk, then we've got these sweep doors here that we can push around to make sure that they don't come back on us.